Hey, welcome to another super special experience session right here on indigomusic.com. I'm Niladri, and joining me today is the one and only Aditya Rao, singer, songwriter, all the way from the United States, if I'm right.
Yes, sir. Yes, Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Now, Aditya Rao, I was reading about you, some fantastic work portfolio that you have. Now, let's begin by talking about your single, which is out, SND, aka Sound, which you collaborated with Sri Ram. Talk to us about, the origin story of this song.
Yeah, so SND is also translated to Sanida or simply sound in English. We really liked the alliteration that it had with the three letters. But we started off working on the music about 4 to 5 years ago, actually. He and I met in Mumbai at a hotel room, and we just started to, that's the first time that we met, actually. So we started to see how we could work together with everything that I brought to the table and everything that he brought to the table. Each had very unique experiences because he plays an instrument called the bassolin, which is basically a bass guitar, and then he uses a bow and plays it like a violin.
Wow.
Or a cello. So, and then he's a phenomenal producer as well. So we started to kick around a whole bunch of ideas, and then Sanida kind of naturally emerged, as most music does whenever you're collaborating with a lot of people. And we kind of paused on the song for a while because we knew that we had something, but we weren't able to kind of like filter it down into the message that we were that we wanted to bring out, and the music that we wanted to finalize. So we actually stepped away from it for a while, and then got back to it around the same time last year, and did a whole round of reproduction, etc., to what it is today. So Sanida is really near and dear to my heart because it talks about lyrics that are simple to understand by a lot of people, and the lyrics, while they're unique to me and my storyline, it could be very different for anyone else listening to the song, along with the experiences that they are going through at that moment in their life. So it's been a tremendously valuable and immense learning experience so far. So I'm really excited to see how it does and how it connects with people.
Now, Aditya, when did it dawn on you that singing is going to be my line? When did that happen?
So I've been singing all my life. I've been trained in Carnatic music since I was 3 years old. I've lived in the US for most of my life. I was born in Bangalore. And I moved to the East Coast in the United States when I was about 8 years old. But I used to spend my summers back in Bangalore learning Carnatic music and being with my family and staying in touch with who I am, both Indian and American. So I used to spend my summers through grade school there, and it's always been who I am, and it's always been how I've expressed myself and how I think. So there's times when you try to find reasoning as to like why things happen, but sometimes it comes as a song or it comes as a lyric. So I've been blessed to have the opportunity to pursue this full time, and it's been nothing but a valuable learning experience for me.
Now, your classical version of Ed Sheeran's Shape of You went super viral. When it did go viral, what was your reaction? Did you think ever it would go viral?
Not 1 second did I think that this would even be a viable idea. I was actually in the shower doing some bathroom singing, and I thought to myself, hey, okay, the most brilliant ideas come to mind when you're in the shower. So I started to sing a classical version of Shape of You, and I reached out to Indian Raga and the other guys who were on the who were on the collaboration. And I said, guys, this may sound ridiculous, but what if we did a classical version of Ed Sheeran's Shape of You? And they said, okay, why not? Let's try it. And we started to put the swarams, and we started to put the ragas together, and we started to put the basically the architecture behind what it is today, and said, okay, this is a great project. Let's just release it because we have this piece of content, and move on with our lives. Never did I imagine that it would reach, I think, over 10 million views now, maybe even close to 15 or 20 million now. So it's been, again, just yet another rewarding experience, which was completely not planned or not expected. So I think those are the moments that truly make someone feel like, this is why we do what we do. You never expect an amazing result like this. You just do it for the love of music, and if it catches on fire, it catches on fire. There are other there are other projects of mine, other singles that haven't caught on fire, but those are moments in my life that I need to write about and that I need to talk about. And I'm okay if it, I'm not expecting any song to go become a major pop hit from start to finish on day one. So, I'm doing this for the love of music. And if a byproduct of that is that more people appreciate and understand where I'm coming from and can connect with it, that's why we all do it.
Fantastic. Now, I want to ask you this because one of his first radio interviews, in fact, I think the only radio interview that he'd ever given was, fortunately, was on my show. I'm talking about the maestro A.R. Rahman.
Yeah.
You've worked with him.
Yes, sir.
How was that experience, Aditya?
It's just yet another completely unexpected journey for me, I guess. I was an intern at a company called Kyunki, which was a Bangalore-based company, and they have multiple bases around the country now. But when they had launched, A.R. sir was a big part of how they launched. And I had approached them saying, hey, what you guys are doing for the South Asian market, particularly in India, is phenomenal. And the amount of South Asian talent that is in the US, what you guys are doing in the South Asian market is incredible. And there are so many people with equivalent amount of talent living in North America, not just in the US, but even in Europe and North America. So let me come in as an intern for you and let me do some market research for you to see whether Kyunki would be a viable option to expand into the States and beyond. So that's how that relationship started. Again, I only did it for the love of what these guys were doing, and I believed in what they were doing. And there was a moment, a random morning when I got a call from the CEO at the time and said, hey, I'm in the US, I'm in Los Angeles. I used to live in Los Angeles for a long time. Why don't you come have lunch with me? And oh, by the way, we're gonna go meet AR for lunch at the same time.
Wow.
I kind of just my hands were shaking, the phone slipped, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I said, did I hear you right? He said, yeah, let's go have lunch. I said, fine, let's go have lunch, I guess. So we had lunch, obviously, it was a great lunch. And we spent about 4 hours together. He was incredible in just making anyone at the table or making anyone around him feel comfortable and not have them feel intimidated at all. So right. After going back and forth, he said, hey, do you want to do some background vocals for me maybe sometime in the future? I said, sure. I said, absolutely. What am I going to say no? but surprisingly, at least surprising to me, I got a call the next morning and said, hey, could you come to the studio? We have a project for you. I said, absolutely. Went in, got into the studio. I was nervous for the first couple of seconds, but right. I knew, for me, I knew that when I have to perform either in the studio or on stage, I throw all nervousness and all normal world things behind me because we're there for a purpose. We're there to focus on one project together. So, and he felt the same way too. So we immediately became collaborators rather than me going into a studio doing work for someone else. Right. And that's what you have to appreciate about him, at least from my end, the most, because he makes you feel comfortable. He makes you feel like a partner in anything that we're working on. So I've been lucky enough to work on a few films with him, go on tour with him around a few cities, work on a Hollywood film with him. Lots of amazing experiences, between LA and India and worldwide too. So it's become more than just musician and singer working together. It's more like, hey, let's be partners and work on projects that we truly believe in.
I'd asked A.R. Rahman in the interview that I had with him, Rahman bhai, do you ever chill out? I mean, you're always in your studio. I said, do you watch movies? So he says, yeah, only when my hard disk crashes. I said, wow, that's the way to go. But you played a major role in the soundtrack of Rocketry, the Nambi Effect. Mm-hmm. How was that experience, Aditya, working with Maddie?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of all been surreal because when the album for Rocketry, the Nambi Effect launched, it was the same day as when Sani Da launched. So it was a whole bunch of stuff for me where I had to talk about not only the work that I did for Rocketry, but also my own work with Sani Da. So it's, I'm a strong believer of everything happens for a reason. And it just happened to have been that. And it wasn't a planned effort at all. I had already planned to launch Sani Da long back on the 24th of June. And then when I found out that rocketry was going on the same day, I was like, okay, this is just another thing that tends to happen that's unexpected. But coming back to your question, it's been a 4-year journey working with Madhavan sir. I actually initially met him in Los Angeles over a cup of ramen. He had randomly come. He was in Los Angeles and he put a story up on his Instagram saying, hey, any vegetarian or vegan recommendations while I'm in town? And my wife actually responded back to him. And he responded back to her saying, hey, are you Aditya's fiance? And she said yes. And completely unbeknownst to us, he responded back and said, hey, I've been trying to reach Aditya for a while now. I have a project that I really want to bring him on. And this was because he saw my Shape of You video a while back. And so my wife called me and I was at work at the time and she said, hey, we're going to have dinner tonight at the ramen place we really love. I said, okay, good. And she said, oh, by the way, we're going to have dinner with Madhavan. I said, Madhavan who? I don't know who Madhavan is. I said, are you kidding me? Madhavan, the actor? She said, yeah, he's in town and he wants to talk to you about music. And that's how it started. We met at the same restaurant that my wife recommended. We had a bowl of ramen and it started off there. And he told me the story, the incredible story of Dr. Naminarayanan and how it is that we want to achieve the emotions and the music behind it. And it was an incredible journey for 4 years. We actually focused, so the music was, I'm not sure if you know about the film, I'm not sure how much you know about the film, but
it's released today in India, so I'm going to definitely go catch it. But I'm aware about what had happened at ISRO with Naminarayanan.
Right. So film-wise, this is the first time where an Indian film has been consecutively shot in English, in Hindi, and in Tamil.
Wow.
Natively. Every scene was shot that way. And then there were some other languages that were dubbed.
Right.
So he worked with a couple of people in Nashville who created the 2 main songs for the film. And he came up to me and had the idea of, hey, we have these 2 English songs already done. What if we take the instrumental and develop Indian language versions of it? Let's focus on Tamil for now. I said, okay, who's going to be the lyricist? Said Nambi sir himself. I said, okay, wow. This is incredible. So we actually went back and forth, and COVID hit in the middle of all this.
Right.
So we were on Skype calls and Zoom calls, and we were on video calls, just figuring out the lyrics. Where I'm sitting in my home studio in the US, and Madhavan sir is at his home, and Nambi sir is at his home, and we're all collaborating on how best to write the lyrics. In Tamil, the first song is called Peruvali. It roughly translates to "and it hurts" in English. It was one of the hardest songs for me to perform because the man who's experienced everything has written the lyrics by himself. So I needed to make sure that my performance, not pays tribute, but my performance matches the emotions that someone's gone through. So I had to really dig deep and go to some really deep, dark places in my head to try and somehow come even in the vicinity of the pain and the angst that he has gone through, right, to perform the song. So it took about 2 years to finish and finalize Peruvali. And once that was done, the next curveball came in where he said, hey, right now for the other languages, we have only instrumental versions of both songs. How would you like to become a vocal arranger on our project and get the lyrics to the other songs written? But here's the challenge. We have an April 14th, 2021 release date, which was last year.
Right.
So this was pre-COVID wave 2 in India. So we were actually about to release last year. And we have 2 weeks left. Can you pull this off? I said, I'll take on the challenge. And if we can't pull this off, we can always revert back to the instrumental versions. Right. So he got one version done for the Hindi, he got one of the Hindi songs done.
Right.
And then I somehow got lyricists on board within 24 to 48 hours, had them write and had me perform within 72 hours. And we had 5 versions of both songs
wow,
recorded. and ready to go. So, so I've sung the same two songs that are originally written in English, but in Hindi, in Tamil, in Kannada, in Malayalam, and in Telugu.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been, and in, I don't even know, I don't think anyone else has done that in the industry. Not that that was my goal to do it. It's just I took up the challenge and it worked out. And we are so incredibly happy with what's come out in the album. And we just, you know, I had a screening to attend. I'm actually in Chennai right now. I had a screening to attend last night, and that was the first time when I saw the finished final product of the film. And I was completely overwhelmed. Didn't expect to feel or react the way I did, but you know, I couldn't stop crying for 25 minutes. It was probably a mix of emotions of this man's story that needs to be told and needs to be understood by everyone around the world is actually now being told. But also the fact that this incredible 4-year journey is actually coming into fruition. I think it's a mixed bag of emotions that just spewed and overwhelmed me at that moment. And you know, it's just I just genuinely can't wait for the world to see it starting today and have them understand Dr. Navi Narayan's story and everything that he has gone through, and have people question why it is that they don't know as much about him as they should. Yeah.
Right. Now, Aditya, your body of work has so much of variety. I mean, you've also, you know, worked for Hollywood projects. One that comes to my mind is that you were one of the singers who were also singing along with Billie Eilish. Am I right?
Yeah. So
How was that experience, and how the hell is she?
So I have been a background vocalist for a lot of US-based artists, from Billie Eilish to Santana to 30 Seconds to Mars, etc. So
and Camila Cabello as well, right?
Camila Cabello as well. Yeah, yeah. So I've, you know, the industry is quite small, regardless of where you are in the world. And I've been lucky enough to have some opportunities where it's the same group of people who get these new type of opportunities, and I get calls back. So it's another one of those sets of things that I would never expect to receive, but I've been lucky enough to get called back as a background singer for both live performances and studio recordings. So it's nothing but an immense experience, because I get to go to like the Capitol Records building in LA and into one of the most studios that background for whoever needs someone like me.
Right. Now, Aditya, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you and having you on our Xperience sessions on indigomusic.com. All the very best with your music. And yes, the world and India are going to be, enjoying the music that you've also done for Rocketry, The Nambi Effect. It was an absolute pleasure having you here, and hope to chat soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the very best.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.